Rudy Giuliani's business associate, Lev Parnas, is offering to testify in the impeachment investigation, and he has some dirt on Representative Devin Nunes, who has been front and center in the impeachment investigation. Now, he has been undermining it. He's been minimizing the accusations against Donald Trump and Rudy Giuliani. But at no point did he mention that he had been working with Rudy Giuliani and his business associates, including Lev Parnas, in digging up dirt on Joe Biden. Let me give you the details. Parnas, again, a business associate of Rudy Giuliani, wants to testify to Congress that aides to Representative Devin Nunes called off a trip to Ukraine this year when they realized they would be required to notify Democratic Committee Chairman Adam Schiff. Now, this is super relevant because obviously Adam Schiff is the head of this impeachment investigation, the head of the committee doing the impeachment investigation. And we had learned last week that Devin Nunes was, again, working with Lev Parnas and Uygur and Rudy Giuliani in helping to dig up dirt, not only on Joe Biden, but on this nonsense conspiracy theory that Trump has bought into, where rather than Russia, Ukraine was trying to meddle in the elections in 2016.
Okay, so let me give you a little bit more context here on Nunes' participation. So first of all, understand he definitely did meet with the Ukrainians in 2018. And now there's a news story about how he also thought about meeting with them this year. So I'll come back to that. But for the 2018 meeting, Nunes met with former Ukrainian prosecutor general Viktor Shokin. Now, Shokin was ousted for corruption in 2016. So these guys who say, oh look, all we want to do is end corruption in Ukraine. Nunes is going to meet with a guy who was so corrupt he was thrown out of office.
Okay.
So they're not against corruption, they're in favor of corruption.
No, you guys, this is a very big deal, okay? Because remember, part of this impeachment investigation has already uncovered the fact that the ambassador to Ukraine, okay, Marie Yovanovitch, was pushed out by corrupt forces within Ukraine. And Viktor Shokin was one of those corrupt prosecutors who wanted Marie Yovanovitch out, okay? So you have Devin Nunes hitting up Viktor Shokin, meeting up with him and having discussions about things that are super relevant to this impeachment investigation. And then you see Nunes sitting there, right? Undermining the entire process, defending Donald Trump. He has a giant conflict of interest. In fact, he should be one of the witnesses testifying in the investigation.
You know, sometimes they'll say, oh, Schiff should testify. About what? Nunes, on the other hand, actually was directly implicated in these same crimes.
Exactly.
So why did he go to meet with Shokin? Apparently, according to witnesses, for the express purpose of talking about Biden and only Biden. So not like, hey man, I'm really worried about corruption. How about that Ukrainian and that Ukrainian? No, hey, give me dirt on Biden. So he already had that meeting in 2018. Apparently he booked another meeting with him in 2019. And then he's like, but you know how dumb Devin Nunes is? He's like, oh, Schiff can find out where I've been traveling. Really, Sherlock, you just figured that out? And so when he found out, oh, Schiff will find out. Oh man, because in 2018 when he did the trip, he did it during a congressional break. He did it through these channels where he thought, oh, I won't get discovered. Because the dude thinks he's Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, right? Like in his mind, he's like, dun 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 dun, right? In reality, it's so obvious what he's doing. So he cancels the trip in 2019, but now Parnas is saying, yeah, he canceled it, but he told me he was gonna go, and then he told me he canceled it because he didn't want to get caught.
Yeah, it's like having, a cop who helped in committing the crime investigate that crime with the detective, right? Like, come on, right? So whenever he's there undermining this entire process, understand that it's because, according to Lev Parnas, he is involved in what the Trump administration is being investigated for right now. Now, Devin Nunes was asked some pretty tough questions, and I don't normally say this, by Maria Bartiromo, and take a look at how he answers the question about his involvement here.
Were you in Vienna with Shokin?
Yeah, so look, Maria, I really want to answer all of these questions, and I promise you I absolutely will come back on the show and answer these questions. But because there is criminal activity here, we're working with the appropriate law enforcement agencies. We're going to file all this. Everyone's going to know the truth. Everybody's going to know all the facts. But I think you can understand that I can't compete by trying to debate this out with the public media when 90% of the media are totally corrupt.
So understand when Nunes cites, oh, there's criminal activity here, he's obviously not talking about himself. He's talking about the journalists who have reported on this story accurately. Right? He wants to go after them, and he actually makes that clear. He wants to file lawsuits against them for reporting this story. Take a look.
We are going to take both CNN and the Daily Beast likely into federal court right after Thanksgiving. It is not okay to work with someone who has been indicted on serious federal crime to build a media narrative and dirty up a member of Congress.
No, but he's the one who's implicated in this case. He's the one who should have to testify as part of this impeachment investigation. He shouldn't be the one helping to conduct the impeachment investigation.
Didn't this guy sue his own cow or something?
Yeah, like he finds that criminal behavior.
Yeah.
But like, what about the real criminal behavior you're involved in?
No, this is clownorama. So when he eventually goes to court and says, oh, CNN might look like they have freedom of speech and freedom of the press, but I didn't like what they said, so I'd like you to arrest them. I mean, the judge is gonna laugh about it in court, maybe quite literally, like maybe have him removed from the building. That is preposterous. There's no leg to stand on. All they're doing is third grade stuff. Oh yeah, I'm not the criminal. You're the criminal. It's like the most juvenile, pointless thing. There's overwhelming evidence now by one of his co-conspirators who's talking to the prosecutors saying, yes, he did these meetings, he tried to do more. By the way, his aide eventually did have a Skype meeting apparently with the Ukrainians in 2019 as well, etc. And you saying, oh yeah, it doesn't stick on me, it sticks on you. That's not the real saying. It's not gonna work at all. All they're doing is trying to run out the clock on their criminality. It's at some point, it is definitely going to catch up with them.
Okay, so I have to add one final element to this story because on one hand, you have this evidence, right? And getting evidence against people like Devin Nunes is one thing. It's all about what you end up doing with that evidence. So will there be consequences for Devin Nunes? And it's from CNBC, really bothered me because it shows you how terrible some Democrats are, right? A lot of Democrats. Representative Adam Smith from Washington, the chairman of the House Armed Services Committee, said that Nunes would likely face a House ethics probe over allegations he sought to dig up dirt on Biden. What? What? What do you mean? Maybe, I don't know, if we get around to it. But let's allow Devin Nunes to be front and center during this impeachment investigation, even though there's a giant conflict of interest here and he should be investigated himself?
No, when it comes to progressives, Democrats are lions. They fight like hell, right? So if they're gonna throw one of their own under a bus like Ilhan Omar, they're like, oh yeah, right away, right away. Okay, trumped up charges made up by the right wing, taken out of context. Who cares? Throw her under a bus. Throw her under a bus. We got to get her, right? When it's a Republican who has potentially broken the law and his co-conspirators are talking to prosecutors and he's the lead Republican in the impeachment proceedings, maybe. And then they still can't figure out why we're disgusted by Democratic leadership and how they have no fight in them at all.
Yep, that's just the situation we're dealing with. If you're not gonna fight, what's the point in this evidence gathering process that you're doing? There's really no point.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR. So those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.